Alright everyone, it's time for my 2010 most anticipated games pre-E3 list. Number 10, Epic Mickey. Okay, we in America need to face facts. Mickey isn't that great of a character like he used to be. He's kind of, well, lame. His main characteristics that made him so interesting in the old classic cartoons were ripped asunder and given to Goofy and Donald, leaving Mickey with not much. However, Disney is attempting to change that. They approached game designer Warren Spector, whom you may know for his work on the game Deus Ex. They wanted Warren to make Mickey an interesting character again. Warren's response? Throwing Mickey into a twisted world where Disney's oldest, most decrepit creations reside, including Disney's first creation, Oswald the Rabbit. In this world, Mickey can be good, neutral, or a total jerk. He can paint or erase the world to make platforming easier. The concept art was epic, and once we started seeing the actual game, people seemed to be a little disappointed with it. But you have to remember, this is still early in development, so the game could change drastically. Now, I know I'm showing you mostly screen caps, but that's because the game is still very early in development. Here's a few animations, and I gotta say, doesn't that look just like an old-fashioned cartoon? The way Mickey's limbs stretch and wobble like that? How many other games move like that? I really can't wait to see an actual trailer for this game. Number 9, Red Steel 2. The first Red Steel was, well, a disappointment. We thought we were getting one-to-one sword controls, and that would be a first in video games. It looked really fun. There were several problems, however. First of all, the game looked terrible. I mean, I know it's the Wii, but we've seen a lot better than that. Secondly, you could only use your sword at a certain part in the game. You would fight certain characters and then you would pull your sword out. That was also pretty lame. Also, the game wasn't designed really well, and aiming with the Wii cursor was a total pain. However, Red Steel 2 is on the way, and it looks like Ubisoft has actually learned their lesson. The game has a more stylized, cel-shaded kind of look. Also, they completely changed the story. It's now in a type of Western punk theme. And of course, the biggest, most important thing about this game is that it uses Motion Plus for actual one-to-one sword controls. All I can say is it's about time. Also, Red Steel 2 is learning from the Conduit and actually including a highly customizable control scheme for the pointer. It definitely looks like they're taking their time, they're making the effort. They've actually pushed the game back a few times already, so I'm expecting a quality product this time. That being said, I know it's kind of low on the list because it has Red Steel in the name, but I really think this is going to be a good game. Number 8. Sin and Punishment 2. When it comes to on-rail games that aren't light gun games, you're pretty much limited to Panzer Dragoon, Star Fox, and Sin and Punishment. And thanks to the fact that the original Sin and Punishment came out in the Virtual Console, we're finally going to be getting Sin and Punishment 2. This game looks really fun. The characters look well detailed, the energy effects look cool, the areas look varied and highly animated, and of course, it one-ups the original by actually having pointer controls. It's going to be so much easier to aim in this one than it was in the original. I don't have that much more to say about it. It looks like it's going to be a really fun game, and definitely something that'll hold us over until we actually get a new Star Fox game! Number 7. Metroid Other M. I am not a Metroid fan. In fact, I've never played a Metroid game in my life, but this one has kind of caught my interest. It's a 3D Metroid game that isn't always in first person. And no, the Morph Ball in the Prime series doesn't count. I mean, Samus is actually running around, and it's not always in first person. I've had an interest in the Metroid series, but I've never really taken the time to play any of the games. I think I'll be making an exception for this one. It looks like it has a much deeper story than the other Metroid games. I know that the whole theme of Metroid was to be in isolation and everything, but it's nice to see that they're changing it up for once. This will most likely be the first Metroid game I ever buy. Oh, and also it's made by Team Ninja, and I love Ninja Gaiden. Number 6. Valkyrie Chronicles 2. This one just barely made it onto the list. Why? Because I played the original Valkyrie Chronicles not too long ago and fell in love with it. And this is coming from a guy that kind of hates tactical RPGs. Well, I don't hate them, they're just not my kind of game. However, Valkyrie Chronicles takes the tactical RPG and molds it, changes it into something different and new. Something that I can actually play and enjoy. You're not limited to a bunch of isometric panels or something like that. You actually move your characters like it's a regular third-person shooter, but you're limited to a bar of movement. I enjoy everything about Valkyrie Chronicles. I enjoy the combat, I enjoy the story, I enjoy the characters, I enjoy the music. Some people are complaining it's on the PSP. I love the fact that it's on the PSP. It means I can keep playing it no matter where I go. Sure, the graphics aren't going to look as good as the PS3, but look at this gameplay. You can just tell. This is Valkyrie Chronicles. You got the moving your units, you've got moving in real time, limited by a bar. You've got all the classes, including 2 new classes. The story takes place 2 years after the original Valkyrie Chronicles, with Gallia gripped in a civil war. I can't wait to enjoy the new characters and see how the war develops. Number 5. Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver. If you asked me what I thought the best Pokemon game was, I'd say Pokemon Platinum. However, if you asked me what my favorite Pokemon game was, I would undoubtedly say Pokemon Silver. There were so many features in it, including 2 regions to explore, something that none of the other Pokemon games had. Finally, my favorite Pokemon game is getting remade in new, updated DS graphics, and adding interesting features like any of your Pokemon following you on the overworld map, and an improved touchscreen interface, which is one of my biggest problems with Diamond and Pearl. To me, this is going to be, without a doubt, the greatest Pokemon game ever made. Number 4, 3D Dot Game Heroes. I love the concept of this game. Let's take some classic 3D sprites and turn them into 3D models made out of blocks. I'm shocked no one thought of doing this sooner. The gameplay is very similar to Zelda. The world looks really interesting since everything is made out of blocks, made to look 2D, but not being 2D. When you destroy an enemy, their blocks shatter in a very realistic and interesting way. The only thing in the game that I've seen that doesn't look like it belongs is the water. The water looks realistic and glistening. I'm not sure exactly if it would look that good if it was just a bunch of bumpy blue blocks. But yeah, I love the style of this game. And it also has a sense of humor. Look at how you can enhance your sword. Oh, you think that's big? I've seen a video where the thing covers the entire screen. That's right, Cloud Stripe's sword looks absolutely pathetic compared to this thing. Taking sword sizes to the next level. That is 3D Dot Game Hero. Number 3. Monster Hunter Tri. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, going from my number 1 most anticipated game to number 3. Still, Monster Hunter Tri looks like a game that I must own. It is the most graphically impressive game on the Wii that I have seen thus far. One of the things I was worried about is it's a 4-player online co-op game, and I was worried about lag. But I've seen several videos of online gameplay, and I have yet to see any lag whatsoever. Another great thing about Monster Hunter Tri is, sure, it can be played online, but you can also play it locally with a buddy through split screen mode. Heck, you can even save your character on your Wiimote and take it over to your friend's house to play as him. Let's face it, split screen modes, they're starting to become a real rarity. Monster Hunter Tri looks like Capcom has put a lot of effort into it. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, we speak support and no friend codes. I'll see you online, fellow hunters. Number 2. Super Mario Galaxy 2. To this day, I am still surprised at how much I loved Super Mario Galaxy. I thought Sunshine was okay, didn't really like it that much. 64 I've come to kinda hate over the years. I just could never get into Mario 64. But Galaxy changed everything. While the previous 3D Mario games had you running around collecting items, this one had you running around in a somewhat linear but not linear way collecting items. And that's what made the difference for me. I kinda like the old Mario, let's just get to this point gameplay. And somehow, Nintendo managed to get it into the 3D space. It's a very much linear Mario game, but it's not a linear Mario game. You still explore. I'm sorry, it confuses me. But anyway, the original Mario Galaxy had some of the best graphics for the Wii, breathtaking orchestrated scores, and some of the best 3D game platforming ever created. I didn't feel as much danger walking around edges as I did in other platformer games. They really nailed it this time. Galaxy 2 looks to have some fantastic new music, inventive new levels, and it has Yoshi, a Yoshi that's fully implemented into gameplay, unlike his stupid fruit-shooting, I drown in water Yoshi form that was in Sunshine. This looks like a return to form for Yoshi as far as Mario riding him goes, and I welcome it. I can't wait to explore all the new galaxies. And the number 1 game I'm anticipating most this year, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I am a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. This game takes place before the original Kingdom Hearts. It shows the beginning of everything, possibly the Keyblade Wars, the creation of the Heartless, the origin of Organization 13, Kairi still as a princess back in Radiant Gardens, how Mickey became a Keyblade-wielding badass. It looks like a very, very important game. It also looks like the combat has been refined. Also, you go to all kinds of new interesting worlds. You got Cinderella, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, and Stitch. Okay, he's called an experiment blah 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 at this point, but still, you go to his planet, and that should be really fun. Lastly, there are 3 all-new characters, Ven, Aqua, and Terra. You get to play as all 3 of them, and they have completely different stories. You kinda have to play all 3 to get the full picture of the story in Birth by Sleep, and each one of their stories accounts for about 10 hours of gameplay. I'm really hoping this is going to be an incredible Kingdom Hearts game. Well, those are the games I want most this year. See you again soon.